can tell you that got me through that period of time was that I committed to not stopping. I didn't know when I would succeed or if I would succeed, but I did know that I wouldn't stop. And that if I didn't stop, that I couldn't be called a failure. And so that was the big thing. Like I realized that if I had to stop, then I would have to explain stopping. That still meant that other people's opinions mattered to me, to be clear. But if I was like, if I just keep going, I can always be like, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. And as long as I had enough to cover food, which doesn't really cost that much, I was gonna be okay. And so a lot of times the worst case scenarios, I would encourage you to think out in more specificity what really is the worst case scenario. As someone who slept in the car or slept on the floor, like, you know what? Just like everything else, it becomes steady state, right? Like I remember when I was broker and had amazing memories. And I remember being richer and having amazing memories. I remember having terrible memories now, having more money, and I remember having terrible memories then, having less money. For sure, money will give you options, but it will not really dramatically change your subjective well-being because that is very internal. And a lot of us already know this, but we still want to make sure and go get the money anyways. But I see a man's work as something that's incredibly core to who we are. I don't know if it's the same for women. I can only speak to my own experience, but I see my work and what I choose to do with my hands and my mind and my, like every day. Like my grandfather, who was the person that I was closest with my family, he came here, he was an immigrant, one of 9, born in Macedonia. He was the smartest of them, so they sent him to boarding school because he was smarter than his siblings. Did well, then ran from the Nazis for multiple years during the Holocaust. And then from there came to the US after being in Europe after the World War, and to start his practice here. And then he had to retake all of the exams because none of the European standardizations mattered in the US. So he had to retake everything again in the US in language he didn't understand. And so, you know, obviously he became successful. He had my mother and my mother had me. But he and I would sit there and talk, and he says, you have 2 hands and 1 mind. That's it. And I always thought about that. So it's like we have 2 hands and 1 mind. And if we think that, like, no matter what path you choose, like poverty is tough, right? And so is growth, and so is risk. Like everything sucks, right? I tweeted this thing the other day because I was texting someone. It says, everything is hard and no one cares. I am able to make these videos despite some of the personal cost that comes with it. For sure, there's personal benefit, but there are costs and there are benefits. Because when I have those moments where you're like, shoot, what if I like go off this ramp and I'm about to die, or like you have some health scare because you see a lump somewhere and you're like, oh my God, is it cancer? And it's not, or whatever. Those moments you do this quick check on your life and you're like, do I need to change everything about what I'm doing? And for me, when I have those moments, I look back and I say, like, this is what I would have done. Like,